We are going to talk now about the importance of a diverse and inclusive culture and the journey the supreme winner of the 2018 Diversity Works Awards, the NZDF, has been on. So to tell us more, please welcome the General Manager, Estate Strategy at the New Zealand Defence Force, Phil Gurnsey.
Kia ora. As my speech topic implies, I'm not going to talk about infrastructure per se today, but I will talk about the 14,500 people who are supported by the Defence Force's infrastructure. We've been on a journey to encourage diversity and inclusivity in our workforce. Diversity is important in making our organisation more effective and more successful. It fosters creativity and offers a greater range of perspectives and ideas. We have learned that a diverse workforce makes us a more attractive employer, and that productivity improves if the environment is more inclusive. In order to be inclusive, everyone in our environment must first feel safe. I want to talk to you about our journey, and specifically the aspects that directly contribute to inclusivity and to safety. But before I do, I want to play a short video that provides you some context.
Within the first 3 years of my career, in my unit, I saw 1 case of sexual assault and 2 cases of rape. I hate to think how much it happened around.
So when I was a junior 8, I was on a course, and during that course, the way that the instructor would get my attention would be by pulling my hair. I didn't like that. It happened multiple times, but I didn't say anything. I didn't feel like I could.
A persona where they all had to put on just to say that I'm this alpha male in this organisation, and that is the only way to be, and that is the only way to lead.
It is rooted in terms of power-based structures. That's where it thrives, in terms of people having power over another person. It's not about sexual gratification.
Once hearing about some of the stuff that was going on, I did think that it was a good idea to change some of the culture that we had.
Our CERT training is our organisation's response again to making sure that everyone understands what is acceptable behaviour.
Initially it came through a CDF video, I think, that he provided to all the members of the Defence Force, and he mandated that every member of the Defence Force was to attend the CERT training.
CERT stands for Sexual Ethics and Respectful Relationships.
And it was an ambitious task to try to say to the 14,000 members of the Defence Force, we want everybody to receive this training.
The top may have started it, but it's really us realising that we need to change.
We want all of you to have those courageous discussions.
So from the CERT training though, you would have known what the 5 types of legal sex are? Maybe?
So we have a spectrum which goes from red to green. In the middle, there's the amber piece, which is about where there can be questions, where there can be grey areas.
It's got some very unique aspects, and particularly around bystander behaviour.
So everyone's a protagonist, and that's the great bit about it. And really looking upon ourselves and our good friends and our mates saying, hey, you know what you're doing is not right.
We use a phrase called get yourself into the green. We would expect that people's bystanders and mates will be able to say to them, hey, you need to get yourself into the green.
A successful indicator of our training has been around the ability for our young people in particular to put themselves forward and be champions for this change.
It is really good to hear that we're taking that step forward, just making sure that none of the stuff that we heard about on the op respect briefings is hopefully going to happen again.
Young people in particular talk about how they've been affected by different ranges of behaviour.
It's looking at how we can reframe that power so it's more equitable for people in terms of their relationships with themselves and other people.
Really, really hit home with some of our senior folk who may not have even realised the extent of what they've been doing their whole career.
A great evener. Everybody was dressed in civilian clothing and we were all individuals, and I sat at a table with some older people and some younger people and some civilian people and some junior people.
It's about basic human understanding of empathy and respect.
Success looks like more people coming forward, disclosing abuse, more people saying that's enough, I'm not going to put up with that anymore.
Having this confidence as a team to say, this is what we have agreed to, this is our covenant, and we're going to go with it.
When anything got out of hand, I definitely stood up and I said, look, we're pushing into the orange team. Let's just, cut it back.
Being vulnerable is probably one of the most courageous things you can do, because then that's about exposure, that's about risk, that's about uncertainty.
And that's where the SIR training has come in, to empower anyone at any rank to just stand up and do the right thing.
Being vulnerable is not a weakness. Actually, it correlates to courage perfectly.
I can just be myself. I can be a female and still enjoy the career I've got, with the support of the males as well.
It makes you think, doesn't it, how significant it is for a military organisation with a hierarchical structure and a traditionality of masculine culture to call out inappropriate behaviour. I would say we had no other choice. Diversity is all around us, and diversity cannot thrive without a culture of inclusion. To feel included, our people must be safe. This is a really important issue for me, not only as a senior leader within the Defence Force, but also as a board member on Infrastructure New Zealand. But to get back to infrastructure first, sorry, I can't help myself being an infrastructure specialist. It's my job to think strategically and about our estate and its infrastructure and about our capital investment. I need to be able to concentrate on that. I need to be able to make decisions, and I'm not alone. Every one of our 14,500 people needs to be able to make decisions too. I understand that if people feel unsafe, their reptilian brain kicks in. They go into survival mode. Cholesterol charges through their body. They can't concentrate. They can't think strategically, and they can't make decisions. Well, that's not an optimal way to work every day. And if I was like that, I would find my job pretty hard. We all need to feel safe at workplace. The long-term success of the Defence Force as a modern military organisation, or in fact, the long-term sustainability of your companies, requires an undertaking and a commitment to diversity and inclusion. Long-term success requires action to address behaviours that make our people feel safe. Even in the writing of the speech, I had my wife Sarah peer review it to ensure that I was informed by diversity. Sarah has a very different perspective to me on her life and a different working style to me. Because my family has experienced some of the issues I'll be talking about today, and because I have a daughter and 5 sons with diverse personalities of their own, the issues I'll be talking today are real to me. So what was the Defence Force's journey? Well, as outlined in the video, in 2017 we undertook the Sexual Ethics and Respectful Training, or SIR training in the world of 4-letter acronyms. This new training program was about making it easier to have the difficult conversation. Training was implemented and through the Operation Respect program. The overall aim of Operation Respect is to make sure all members of the Defence Force can do their job in an environment that is safe and free from inappropriate and harmful behaviour. It's my perspective and experience that the Defence Force takes this seriously, and it's a duty of care we owe to our people to keep them safe. The Defence Force is a reflection of New Zealand society, and it is not immune to harmful behaviour. Indeed, historic cases and reviews into the Defence Force have contributed to identifying the need to undertake this prevention. I have completed the SIR training along with 12,000 others, and it opened my eyes to how others thought. I have also observed that the conversation at work has changed. The locker room banter has stopped. And if you feel a conversation getting off track, you only have to say, "Are you operating in the green?" People know what you mean and divert right back on track. Defence Force leaders are hopeful that the enduring impact of the SIR training, that it will promote a safe and inclusive work and a living environment, and that it will empower our workforce. I would add my hope along the lines of my early observation, that in building our capacity to ensure strategic decisions and long-term success of organisations, and by empowering and ensuring our people can operate and speak their own minds, we have to first make them feel safe. So what does the lessons from our initiative tell you about your organisation? Let me answer this by first posing 3 questions and then answering them. Question 1, why is diversity important? It's not just a compliance exercise. There are tangible reasons we need to be diverse. First, recruiting diversity opens us up to a wide range of talent pool. Second, diversity of thought is, if encouraged and managed well, enables us to think differently and more broadly about our organisation. This is really quite important for infrastructure. As we're working on complex and operating environment, technology and society is changing fast. We are confronting more complex problems, some of which we call wicked. Climate change, urbanisation, freshwater quality. Having viewpoints from a diverse range of cultures, experiences, work styles, genders is necessary in order to think creatively, make right decisions. You only have to look at the conversations that the millennials had yesterday afternoon to realise that there is a different way of thinking about things. A third issue is around a diverse workforce, reflecting our community. It is more likely to be engaged better with that community if it is diverse. Engaging people we are part of are better able to understand the cross-cultural issues that they face, then we enhance our way of working with our customers. This leads me to my second question. Why is it important for our organisation to be inclusive? In order to be a diverse organisation, we have to prove that we're worthy of doing so. That means we have to provide a working environment that is safe and inclusive of all. That also means that we need to limit the harmful behaviours such as discrimination, harassment and bullying, and any form of violence from our workplaces. We need to encourage and promote behaviours which everyone feels safe and respected. To do so will enhance our ability to recruit a diverse workforce. And the third and final question, how does our organisation ensure we are inclusive? In ensuring that we are inclusive, it is often the small changes that we make a difference. While we need to ensure that there are good processes in place to recruit for diversity and to make our workforces inclusive and safe, it is up to us as leaders across the organisation to promote and display that behaviour. We need to make it clear in every action we take, whether it be seminars, meetings, visual materials, training, that what our standards of behaviour are and what we do if we're experiencing problems. So to repeat those questions, why is diversity important? Why is it important for our organisation to be inclusive? And how does our organisation ensure that we are inclusive? My conversation with you here today is about respect, safety, and the journey that I have had at New Zealand Defence Force in promoting diversity in our workplace. I encourage you to take my questions back to your boardroom tables and see how you stack up. Let me conclude by summing up my message. Diversity occurs in many different forms, and we need to embrace it. While we often focus on gender, ethnicity, sexuality for a good reason, it is important to understand that even with small cultural changes or groups, diversity of outlook or our thinking often occurs. While diversity is great, it's not enough to stop just there. We also have to ensure our organisations are inclusive, and to be inclusive, everyone first must feel safe. I encourage you to think about this as I close. I encourage you to think that diversity is about having a seat at the table, that inclusion is about having a voice, and about belonging is about having that voice heard. Thank you.